In gardens across the world, a quiet survivor has been adapting for over 4,000 years. It has been worshipped as a fertility symbol, prescribed as medicine, smuggled across oceans, and bred by monks, farmers, and even the royal gardeners of Queen Victoria. Its name? Lettuce. Today, we're traveling from ancient Egypt to a Hawaiian research station to uncover the origins of 12 heat-tolerant lettuce varieties, where they come from, how old they really are, and the surprising stories behind every leaf. Hello, everyone. Today our story begins roughly 4,500 years ago. Today I will be taking us a little through history lane about one of the world's oldest cultivated vegetable lettuce. Let's just sit back and enjoy some gardening stories today. In the Nile Valley of ancient Egypt, tomb carvings show lettuce being grown, but not for salad. The Egyptians first cultivated it for the oil pressed from its seeds. Over centuries, they selectively bred it into a leafy plant, and it took on sacred meaning, dedicated to Min, the god of fertility, and carried in his temple festivals and depicted them near his images because of its upright form and milky sap, which symbolized sexual vigor. From Egypt, lettuce traveled to the eastern Mediterranean Greece, where Greek physicians such as Hippocrates that later described it as a plant that could induce sleep and aid digestion, and it appeared on royal tables as early as 6th century Persia. Physicians used it as a sedative and served it before meals to aid digestion. The Romans inherited it next and gave it the name that would echo through history, lactica, which means the milky sap in the stem, a word that later evolved into lettuce in English. Roman agricultural writers like Columella and Pliny the Elder described numerous forms of lettuce, including early head and looseleaf types, showing that growers were already debating varieties 2,000 years ago. Centuries later, lettuce crossed the Atlantic Ocean as the Roman Empire spread. So did lettuce, into northern and western Europe and eventually into medieval herb gardens, where it was praised both as food and medicine. After European sailors began crossing the Atlantic, lettuce was among the first vegetables they brought to the New World. By 1494, it was already growing on Isabella Island in the Bahamas, likely from seed carried on Christopher Columbus's second voyage. From there, it naturalized across North and South America and, over centuries of selection and breeding, became the most widely planted salad vegetable in the United States today. Our first chapter takes us to modern breeding programs where scientists set out to solve a problem gardeners have faced for centuries. How do you keep lettuce from giving up in summer heat? How do you keep lettuce from bolting or simply giving up in the heat? Crisphead lettuces is the tight, crunchy heads we associate with iceberg and many grocery store lettuces. They're a major focus because they dominate commercial salad production and are notoriously sensitive to heat. Breeders worldwide have spent decades crossing, selecting, and trialing crisphead lines to find plants that germinate in warmer soil, resist tip burn, and hold longer before bolting when temperatures climb. This is crisphead lettuce. First is anuenue. This is a crisphead lettuce developed in Hawaii and released by the University of Hawaii in 1987, making it 39 years old. Its name means rainbow in Hawaiian, a nod to its island home. What sets anuenue apart is that it was purpose-bred to germinate and grow in tropical conditions where many lettuces refuse to sprout. Most standard lettuces struggle once soil temperatures climb above about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but anuenue was selected in hot Hawaiian fields to break that rule. In trials, anuenue forms compact, crisp heads with good heat tolerance and a relatively slow bolting habit for a crisphead type. It's one of the rare lettuces you can direct sow in midsummer in warm climates and still expect reliable emergence, making it especially valuable for gardeners in places with hot nights and high humidity. Next is summertime is another American crisphead bred by Dr. James Baggett at Oregon State University and released in the late 1980s, making it roughly 38 years old. It forms large, slightly silvery green heads with gently toothed leaves and was explicitly selected for resistance to heat-induced bolting and tip burn, two common failures when crisphead lettuce meets summer weather. Gardeners over time have highlighted summertime's ability to hold longer in the field before bolting and to maintain a sweet, crisp texture even when daytime temperatures push beyond the comfort zone of most lettuces. It was developed in a research program that aimed to give both farmers and home gardeners a lettuce that could stretch harvests into warmer months without sacrificing flavor or quality. Now we cross the Atlantic to England for the next one. Webb's Wonderful. Introduced in England in 1890, it's a crisphead lettuce associated with the seed house of William and Walter Webb, who are recorded as supplying seeds to the royal household during Queen Victoria's reign, making this an heirloom with royal connections. The variety forms large, robust heads with distinctively crumpled leaves, and it was promoted as a dependable, large-hearted lettuce for kitchen gardens. Although bred in England's mild, maritime climate, Webb's Wonderful later found favor in regions with warmer summers, including parts of the American South, because its dense heads and slightly firmer texture handle brief heat spells better than many older British lettuces. Today, it survives primarily through heritage seed companies and seed-saving organizations that continue to offer it as a classic crisphead option for gardeners who like a bit of history with their salad. Next, we turn to looseleaf lettuce, a category that echoes how people harvested lettuce for most of human history, one leaf at a time. Rather than forming tight heads, loose leaf types keep producing new leaves from the center, letting gardeners cut and come again over many weeks, a trait that can be especially useful in heat because you can harvest early and often before plants think about bolting. And next we have baby oakleaf. Baby oakleaf is a dwarf, compact selection of the classic oakleaf lettuce named for its rounded, lobed leaves that resemble the leaves of an oak tree, a straightforward naming tradition that goes back centuries in vegetable gardening. Unlike some heirlooms with well-documented pedigrees, baby oakleaf doesn't have a clearly recorded birth year or breeder. It appears in modern seed catalogs as a smaller, tighter strain of oakleaf chosen for its sweetness, tender texture, and long holding ability without turning bitter. Gardening tips to note about baby oakleaf is that it stays compact, making it a good choice for containers and small beds, and that it tolerates a range of conditions, including moderately warm weather, without quickly shooting up a seed stalk. Because it's a loose leaf type, you can harvest individual leaves over an extended window, which naturally stretches the harvest into hotter parts of the season. We also have Gold Rush. This is a modern cut-and-come-again variety, prized for its frilly, lime-green, curly leaves. While its exact origin isn't as well documented as some of our older heirlooms, the harvesting method it's known for is ancient. Cut-and-come-again is essentially how all lettuce was grown and harvested for most of history, long before crisphead types bred for single, whole-head harvesting became common in the 20th century. The harvesting method it represents, however, is anything but new. For most of history, lettuce was grown and harvested as individual leaves, not as whole heads. Gardeners would cut outer leaves and let the plant continue to grow, much like they do with Gold Rush today. This style of harvest can help gardeners cope with heat by keeping plants in an active vegetative state rather than allowing them to mature fully and bolt. Number 6 will be red salad boll, was introduced to American gardeners in 1955, making it 71 years old, older than the U.S. interstate highway system that followed in 1956. Its deeply lobed, bronze-red leaves earned it a reputation as both ornamental and flavorful, and it's been preserved and promoted by Seed Savers Exchange and other heirloom organizations as a reliable loose-leaf lettuce. Growers praise red salad boll for its resistance to early bolting and its ability to maintain good flavor and texture as days warm, especially when harvested regularly as baby leaves. Its vivid color also makes it a popular choice for mixed salad plantings and mesclun-style blends. At number 7 we have slobolt. Native to the United States, slobolt was introduced in mid-1940s by the USDA's Agricultural Research Center in Beltsville, Maryland, making it roughly 81 years old. The name says it all. This was the U.S. government's own official answer to a problem gardeners had been fighting since ancient Rome, lettuce bolting too fast the moment temperatures climb. In side-by-side trials, slobolt showed a noticeably longer window of harvest before bolting compared to standard loose-leaf lettuces, especially under early summer conditions. It became a recommended variety for gardeners facing warm springs, and it has contributed genetics to later heat-tolerant selections that build on its slow bolting trait. Next on the list is romaine lettuce from loose leaves. We move to upright heads. This is romaine lettuce, a category with roots stretching back to Roman times, named after the island of Kos in the Aegean, where popular strain was grown and then spread to Rome. The Romans adopted this tall, cylindrical lettuce enthusiastically, and over time it became so associated with the city that it acquired the name romaine. Many romaine varieties, with their sturdy midribs and upright habit, show good tolerance to sun and moderate heat, making them a natural fit for this list. At number 8, forellenschluss, often sold in English as speckled trout back, is a traditional Austrian romaine-type heirloom with green leaves heavily speckled in maroon. Its name refers to a trout's back, and the speckling is so distinctive that the name serves as both description and branding, long before modern marketing. The variety has been passed through Central European gardens for generations, even though an exact introduction date was never formally recorded. Gardeners and seed saver notes describe forellenschluss as a romaine that tolerates cool springs but also holds reasonably well into warmer weather, provided it's kept well watered, making it flexible across shoulder seasons. Its striking appearance has helped keep it in continuous circulation, as gardeners and market growers alike use it to add color and pattern to salads. We also have winter density. Winter density is a compact French romaine with a long history. Under the name Crackerel du Midi, it was recorded around 1800, making it roughly 226 years old, and one of the older, clearly documented lettuces in circulation today. It combines the upright structure of romaine with the softer, denser heart of a butterhead, which is where its name comes from. Despite its wintry name, winter density is prized for a rare double talent. It is hardy enough to overwinter in mild climates or under protection, yet it also shows relatively slow bolting in early summer heat. That dual-purpose performance has made it a favorite for gardeners who want one variety that can bridge cool and warm seasons. There is butterhead lettuce. Finally, we arrive at butterhead lettuces, soft, loose rosettes whose leaves are so tender they're often compared to butter. In seed catalogs you'll see terms like Boston and bibb used alongside butterhead. These are essentially subtypes of butterhead, all characterized by loosely folded, delicate leaves and a mild, sweet flavor. Because their tissue is so tender, butterheads are often more sensitive to heat and require careful selection and breeding to perform well in warmer conditions, which makes heat-tolerant butterheads especially prized. We do have Aunt May's bibb. Native to the United States, Aunt May's bibb has a remarkably personal history. In 1937, a woman named May passed her saved seeds to her nephew, Nestor Keene, and nearly 90 years later, this variety survives purely because one family kept saving and replanting those same seeds, generation after generation. It's less a commercial variety and more an edible family heirloom, passed down and kept saving and replanting the seed, treating it less like a commercial cultivar and more like a cherished recipe. A perfect description of Aunt May's bibb highlight is a compact head with soft, bright green leaves and a sweet flavor, similar in style to other bibb lettuces, but with its own family-selected nuances. Stories like this underline how many lettuce varieties, especially butterheads, would vanish without the quiet work of individual gardeners saving seeds year after year. At 11 is capitan. Native to the Netherlands, capitan earned its reputation the hard way, winning top honors for Boston-type lettuce in the 1983 Rodale Research Center trials, making it 43 years old. In other words, this Dutch lettuce was award-winning decades before Instagram-worthy garden photos existed. It also carries natural resistance to lettuce mosaic virus and white rot, traits that mattered as much to 1980s agricultural researchers as flavor did. Beyond its texture and flavor, capitan is valued for its resistance to lettuce mosaic virus and white rot, diseases that can devastate fields and home gardens alike. These resistance traits made it particularly attractive to researchers and organic growers looking for varieties that could reduce reliance on chemical controls while maintaining high-quality heads. There is also merveille de quatre saisons, which is native to France. Merveille de quatre saisons, Marvel of Four Seasons, was first documented in Vilmorin's classic gardening book, The Vegetable Garden, in 1885. That makes it 141 years old, the oldest variety in today's lineup. This reddish bibb lettuce has been growing in French and European gardens since the Victorian era And its bold promise, that it performs in every season, is one it's apparently been backing up for over a century and a half. While its claim to perform in all 4 seasons depends on climate and protection, gardeners for more than a century have confirmed that it handles cool springs, early summers, and autumn plantings with grace, provided it's not subjected to extreme heat without shade or irrigation. That longevity, both in the field and in the seed trade, is why many historians consider it one of the oldest continuously documented butterhead lettuces still commonly grown today. Now, let me add to this video, since we are talking about lettuce today. You may have seen recent headlines saying lettuce is causing diarrhea in parts of the United States. So, should gardeners be worried? The answer is no. The reports are linked to specific batches of shredded iceberg lettuce that may have become contaminated during growing or processing. It isn't a problem with all lettuce, and it certainly doesn't mean every head of lettuce is unsafe. Health officials believe a tiny parasite contaminated some of the affected lettuce before it reached restaurants. That's why good farming practices, clean water, and proper food handling are so important. If you're growing lettuce at home, don't panic. Using clean water, keeping your garden sanitary, and washing your harvest well greatly reduces the risk. Homegrown lettuce can still be a healthy and rewarding choice. Gardening isn't just about growing food, it's about growing it safely. Now, let's get back to today's lesson. 12 lettuce varieties. 6 countries. Over 4,000 years of history, from sacred Egyptian temple offerings to Victorian French gardening books to a family seed passed down since 1937. What looks like a simple salad ingredient is actually a living record of human agriculture, carried forward one saved seed at a time. Grow one of these in your own containers this summer, and you're not just growing lettuce, you're growing a small piece of that story. Follow Green Harvest Hub for more growing guides, and let's grow something green together.